since we here and we ain't recording, yo, you don't know about showing love like this. I go to sleep and wake up with my lady on my mind. Show your queen some love out here, fellas. Show your queens some love. Don't tell nobody because I'm a gangster, all right? So they don't need to know what I'm like in real life.
That's the cheat code.
Word. Yeah. That's my baby. You crazy? Look at the history. This how long it's been.
There we go.
Yo, where's Kofi at?
He just joined right now.
Oh, there you
go. Ebenezer.
What's up?
We need you.
What's up?
Dr. Strange.
Yo, I think.
Hold on, how he do it? He be like, and then he be doing all of that.
Yo, I can't see how long the call has been going already. So
yeah, let's get it started.
It's in God's hands.
How we gonna keep track? Yeah, word. How we gonna? Oh yeah. Oh, you want me to set a timer real quick so we know, or is it just gonna shut off when we over?
I think it'll just give us like the 2-minute warning, but let's just assume that we got to be wrapped up at 7.
Okay.
Yeah, that lets me run and visit grandma. So.
All right.
So what were your questions from?
Oh, we gotta set the tone, right? The chit chat, WandaVision. First, let me say I enjoyed it.
Can I get introduced? Yo, I'm back on the podcast. Brandon, I'm here. So y'all know who it is.
Oh, nah, you never left. I thought I was waiting for the beat and all of that. I thought you was gonna drop your intro beat, but I guess we waiting on that. We gonna wait for the music.
Oh, I thought I was gonna add that in post-production.
Yeah. Post-production.
Nah, we need to start that off. You gonna put it in?
It's 6:40 now, so
how you gonna? I think with this at this moment, I think it's actually better to do a post-production.
We
burning fuel.
All right.
Zoom cuts off after 40 minutes.
All right, so we jumping straight into it. So let me go ahead and shout y'all out as a group or individually. Choose to Inspire, Not Destroy podcast episode 2. We're back. We're doing it again. We're getting better. We're growing. We're learning how to get this straight for y'all, and we hope you enjoy it. We're dealing with mental health this week. As per the group, I was assigned to watch WandaVision and give and let them know how I felt about it, and I actually watched it. I enjoyed it, and it just so happened that it actually tied into what we wanted to talk about. So just in case you didn't see us in episode 1, we got Rion, Kofi, Brandon, I'm G. This is the squad. We the crew, and we aim to please. Hopefully you enjoy what we bring into the table and what we offering y'all. So y'all want to quiz me, or you want me to just go straight into how I felt about WandaVision?
The first question is, did you not cry at episode 8 and 9? Spoilers, by the way. Disclaimer for spoilers. When she put her kids to bed, like assisted suicide.
Yes. If you haven't seen it, hopefully by now you have seen it. But if you haven't, we're probably going to ruin it for you. So we apologize in advance. I did get choked up towards the end of the season. Honestly, it touched me in a lot of ways. And I was surprised because it hit home on a lot of things I didn't think it would. I was really impressed by the way they put the story together and how they tied certain things into it. And I'm glad you guys wanted me to watch it because I enjoyed it. It was an experience for me.
Yeah, watching her go through the stages of grief, and you don't even realize it's happening until you're you're deep into the stages. So
you look at it like she's just being selfish, and she's not thinking about anybody else's life but her own. But when it comes to grief and dealing with loss, can you really think of somebody else? Like, what would you do to keep somebody that meant the world to you in your life.
Mhm.
I know for me, it's nothing I wouldn't do to keep my family together. If I lost the most important person to me in the world, I'm not gonna be thinking clearly enough to say, well, maybe what I'm doing right now is wrong and the way it affects other people.
Mhm.
It's so many different stages of grief, and it's hard, and it takes a toll on you mentally and physically. It's a very difficult thing to deal with.
Well, half the time I didn't think it was even her that was doing anything because
Yeah.
it was Agnes all along, but it really wasn't. Which is
Yeah.
kind of crazy because that's how great the writing was, where they really, really like
Mhm.
held back on that Agnes piece to make you believe it was her. And it would have made
Mhm.
sense, right?
Mhm.
Because she was the only one that was doing whatever she wanted, whenever she wanted, showing up, raiding their fridge, looking for the
Mhm.
whiskey, and like
Mhm.
not affected,
Mhm.
asking Wanda, do you want me to do that over? Is that
Mhm.
okay? Like crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then when you get that song at the end, or at the end of what was it, episode 6 or episode 7, Agnes
Uh-huh.
All Along, and it's the Munsters theme. And it was #1 on iTunes for like 4 weeks. You're like, how could it not be Agnes? And then you find out it's really not Agnes. She was just curious as to how she was doing it.
Yeah. That power, man, having that much power, it's just the writing is amazing to me. If you've never been into stuff like that, comics or Marvel, thinking that it's for kids, it's so much deeper. It touches almost every aspect of life that you could think of. I'm really impressed. I'm a fan. Honestly, now I'm a fan of the whole Marvel, and I would ask to get deeper into it.
I really enjoyed the Vision on Vision when they stopped and they had to argue the what was it? The theory of Theseus.
Reality.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was like,
Yeah,
is a ship the same ship if some of the boards are removed? And like, it's a crazy like intellectual argument to have, and then to have the new Vision or the evolved Vision just fly off like I am Vision, and he just leaves because like it's counterintuitive to his programming because he's supposed to kill Vision, but then he realized he is Vision. Crazy.
Yeah, so
That was
The
one of those arguments that could have went either way. Because then, I thought about this conversation that I had with someone over teleportation, and I'm like, yo, that's not really you. That's like a re-adamatized, like your version on a different thing. It's kind of like the same conversation they had. So I'm like, it could have went either way, depending on who kept going within that conversation. But it was cool. It was cool.
Yeah,
It really
and then
was.
you don't have any questions about the post-credit scene with Wanda and her just chilling, not smoking, but chilling, drinking tea and reading the book?
I do. I didn't understand that.
So
there was one version of her chilling and drinking tea. There was another version of her reading a book and studying up, doing whatever. I understand that. I missed that completely. I'm like, what's going on?
She was astral projecting like Doctor Strange was in his movie when he was asleep, but then he had his astral form still studying and learning spells.
Oh,
except they were showing the clear difference between her and Doctor Strange, where Doctor Strange had to do that while he was asleep. She's just doing that while she's leading a normal life outside.
Okay.
And where she was is the mountain where they locked the guy that wrote, or the demon that wrote the Darkhold. So like in another dimension, or earlier, like pre like what we know of Marvel, but like around the Eternal time, they defeated that demon and locked him in that mountain, but like locked him in that mountain in another dimension. So when Wanda was born, somehow he blessed her with the ability to call upon his chaos magic, because he created chaos magic and created the Darkhold. And he only did that because he only gave Wanda the ability to do that because he wanted to use her as a vessel to come back to this dimension. Mm-hmm. So as she ascends to becoming the Scarlet Witch, it's unlocking the door for him to ultimately possess her and come back in whatever form he wanted to come back in. Kind of like, you guys remember Ghostbusters, right? At the end?
I never heard of it. That sounds like an old people show.
So Zool at the end, right? When she was like, when it came back as like that short-haired woman, and she was pretty much like, choose your death. And like everybody was like, don't think of anything. And Ray thought of the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. So coming back in the form, you know, that he busts. So pretty interesting. She's definitely going to be the mid-level villain in Doctor Strange too. For a little bit.
Oh, all right, wait, hold on. Brandon, it looks like you want to chime in on that, but before we keep going, I want to just give the people a little bit of backstory that haven't seen it, have no intentions on seeing it, and how it makes sense to mental health and grief and dealing with loss. Basically, Wanda loses the most important person to her in her life, which is Vision. She creates a whole nother reality to bring him back and live a life that she wanted to live, and she just creates everything that she wants to create inside of this world with him. So I feel like that makes us have to think of what her mental state is, what you would do, and what's really important to you, and how do you deal with that loss. So we're not just rambling talking about some Marvel show, but it's all connected. And if you haven't seen it, I want to know how you guys deal with grief.
Well, you also got to throw in there, she gave birth to a set of twins in there as well.
Yeah.
Was that
she
Oh, my bad, go ahead.
Go ahead, Rian.
No, go ahead. I was gonna ask.
What was you about to say?
Huh? I thought that was like
well,
a mental
I heard
projection.
Brandon say, you just did a mental projection. You working on your Marvel?
No, I said when Kofi mentioned that, I said I thought her kids, just like the entire place was just like Vision was like a mental projection.
Oh
no! So
I thought that was what she wanted. Like everybody, you would want a family. You would want to have kids with somebody that you share your life with and grow up with. I thought she was just manifesting everything that she wanted out of life to be totally happy in that specific moment.
Yeah. Well, yes, you're right about that. But no, it's not a mental projection, because remember at the end of episode 8, when Agnes reveals herself to Wanda, she's like, what you're doing is chaos magic, creating something out of nothing. That's what the Scarlet Witch is. You are the Scarlet Witch. So ultimately, she created the kids the same way she created Vision, because it wasn't a mental projection. It was her feelings and like part of the Mind Stone when she yells and she creates Vision. So the kids were pretty much created out of chaos magic, a magic that that Agnes has only read about in a book. So most of it was like, her willing it into existence. The other half was using Chthon, is actually the guy that wrote Chaos Magic and all that, and using Chthon's Chaos Magic to make it happen. Chthon is also the guy that gave Juggernaut the ability to be unstoppable when he picks up momentum.
B, it sounded like you were saying that you deal with grief terribly. You felt like that's people altogether, or you speaking for you personally?
I think people broadly don't deal with grief well. That's just like known, right? But I think Black people specifically, right? Like we don't really embrace like mental health and like talking even to people we're close to about like what we're going through on the inside. So like I'm really a stone when I'm going through something. Like if I'm going through something, that's me. I hold it down, right? Like especially as like now as like a father, as a husband, right? Like you got to be like the rock, and when everybody's falling, you got to be the foundation.
Yeah.
No, you're right.
That's not the right way to deal with it, but c'est la vie.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
I get it. Nah, go ahead, Kofi.
I agree.
I was gonna say, so like I lost my mother last April, and like we have like my twin brother and sister that are 10 that we're taking care of, and you know, like it was one of those things where it happened and like had to like move forward quickly because she didn't have anything in order. So it's like you have to call Social Security, you have to, file the will, you have to, and like I feel like we do in our community for the most part, in comparison to other communities, we do a terrible job with estate planning and afterlife planning. So when you might want to grieve, you can't because you have everybody knocking on your door, respectfully looking for whatever they're supposed to look for to complete their job, right? Because at the end of the day, it's your grief, but it's somebody else's job that has to continue, right? So like the bill collector still has to call and say, hey, we have a huge hospital bill. Then you have to be like, actually, I'm the executor of the will and the estate is insolvent. Oh, okay, sorry about your loss. And then they kind of move on because it's not their personal thing. But again, if there was some prior planning and some estate planning, there's less of the burden of the afterlife that you have to take on, and it allows you more time to kind of process, in my opinion.
So I have so in reference to, so I agree with all of you guys, I understand, but there's a deep rooted history to all of that. But I'm not going to go into the deep rooted history because then that's going to take us off of topic. But how do you suggest that we start that within our community, meaning start the mental health thing slowly? What's a slow process to easily like bring us into that whole thing where we're taking better care of our mental, we're able to express a lot more emotions? What do you suggest?
So me personally, I think we are doing it, right? So like a big problem is like the people that we are supposed to model ourselves after were because of slavery and like the police beating them and everything else, like they're expected to be like stone stalwart men, right? So like they're not expected to like show out or like show weakness, right? But we are removed enough from that like we show vulnerability, like we show our children it's okay to cry, and we give them their space, and we do all the things that like would have been nice to be done for us, but at least we're modeling the better behavior. So moving forward, the next generation benefits more than we did, right? Like that's my opinion, at least.
That makes sense.
Yeah. I feel like you have to take the time limit off of grief. You can't say that somebody's had long enough to grieve or they shouldn't be grieving so long. For me, this podcast is a part of me dealing with my grief because it carries on into everything. Like I lost my mother when I was 5, 6 years old. So I have no actual memories of her aside from being at her funeral. So I carried that, and dealing with the grief of that, even though you don't know you're dealing with it, it shapes you as a person throughout your life. It affects all of your relationships because your mother is really your first idea of unconditional love. They love you no matter what. They nurture you, they carry you, you're born to them. They're supposed to always be there. It's almost like Christmas, where everybody gets a gift, but there's nothing for you under the tree. To grow up with that feeling of not having a parent, of not saying your father isn't important, but the mother-child relationship is just completely different. To not experience that unconditional love, it affects the way you learn to love because you never really have an idea of what true love is supposed to be. So I feel like for me, dealing with grief and mental health, I've dealt with it forever, but I've never talked about it. It was always just displayed in my actions. The type of person I was, the type of person I became, things I did in my relationships with women and my relationships with my friends. I've always had a wall up because the most important thing to me was taken from me before I could even experience it. So you got to learn to deal with that. And people got to learn to be able to say, I'm not okay. I'm hurting. Yes, I'm functioning, but I don't feel great all the time and not be judged, not looked at like you're weak or you're soft or you need to just suck it up and man up, whatever the term is. You can't tell somebody how long they're supposed to feel a certain way. But I feel like if you find some people that they're willing to listen and you could talk to them and they genuinely care without them even knowing it, they're a part of your grieving process and they help you get through it. And you guys are helping me get through it. And I appreciate that.
That's awesome. I'm glad you were able to express that. I found solace in going to therapy twice a week. So I have a personal therapist, and then we have like a couples therapy because of just all the crazy stuff that the two of us have been through with mom, you know, because the story with my mom is 2 years ago now, we got the call in July that she was in a coma down in Virginia. And she battled type 2 forever, but like didn't battle it the right way. It was just like thought like when her blood sugar would go really high, oh, if I give myself insulin, that'll fix it, but not understanding once your blood sugar reaches, 150, 200, you're doing damage, whether it be small, but it's long-term damage, right? It's messing up your nerves. And then, she was, my mom, I have some photos of her when she was younger. She could have passed for a model. So she was very, like, she was into, even up until she died, like how she looked, but not superficially. So like when she started getting like varicose veins in her legs and, and they started to show, she wanted to go and have like venous vein surgery and all of that. But as a diabetic, you can't do any of that, especially if you haven't controlled your blood sugar, because it takes you forever to heal. Long story short, she ended up getting an infection, put her in a coma. I had to go down there 2 Julys ago and like, while she was in a coma, pretty much give them authorization to amputate her leg while she was asleep. So she woke up and I had to have the conversation with her that I authorized them to remove her leg. So, but anyway, so go to 2 therapists. And I think to your point, George, so like growing up with my mom and my grandma, they were the type that would put others before them. And not necessarily do the things they needed to do to take care of themselves. And I became the complete opposite of that in a way as I was growing up, because I would see the things they would go without. I would see, my grandmother had colon cancer twice. And that was, she just didn't go to the doctor because there was always someone else that she had to take care of or do something for. And like that could have been prevented by just going and get a checkup. But there was always something to fight for. There was always, low income housing that you have to protest for or something. And it was like, like you can't help others when you can't help yourself. So I say all of this to say that one of the therapists this week helped me realize that I've had 2 people that were very important to me that didn't action things when they should have. And throughout my childhood, it became very, 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 very frustrating. And now I'm seeing even more so the ramifications of them not doing the little things that I had asked them for years to take care of for themselves. And that makes me intolerant for like, and I'm working on it, but like in my relationship with my wife, like it's hard when it's like, hey, can you go and do this? And it's like, it doesn't happen when I want it to happen. But like my therapist helped me realize I get frustrated because I've been through that twice in life already. And I know what the eventual outcome is. And it's like, you have to at least for me, I have to understand that, we're coming from 2 separate places. And just because they don't action something right away doesn't mean it's going to be this extreme outcome that we're dealing with again. It's just a matter of that's not how they operate. They don't operate at the same speed as you. I like to get stuff done immediately. I have it on my to-do list. I get it done. If I don't get it done today, I'll get it done tomorrow, because I don't want it to linger and I don't want it to become something where, I end up paying more for something, or I end up, getting in really bad health because I was like, that hurt last week, but it's no big deal. It was unusual, but it's gone now. So it's kind of my story.
For some of the audience members like me, I'm not sure if I deal with grief too well or if I deal with grief at all. So I had a sister, one of my sisters passed away back in 2005, But I don't think I like shed tears or anything like that for that. And I'm also a realist, meaning like I still know I'm one of those people that I know as a people, we can't break down the walls too much because things are still out there. If you understand what I mean, meaning like I don't want to break down my walls too much and let too much in and be too emotional when I know the world is still crazy. I know there's still racism. I just dealt with some shit prior. I know there's still hardship out there. So I don't know if I'm doing correct, or if I am dealing with grief or I'm letting it out a little. Maybe this podcast, being a part of this, is enabling me to let certain things out. But I don't know. I'm kind of like confused as to how I interject or say anything in reference to how you guys are sharing it, because I don't even know if I'm even doing it properly.
Yeah, I don't think
maybe that's your form. Go ahead.
No, I was saying I don't think anyone knows how to do it properly, but I'm glad we're all here, and we definitely need to continue this on episode 3, right? Because I feel like we really just started hitting a stride, and we need to we can't switch topics on episode 3. We gotta come back.
Yeah, there's so much more to talk about. It gets a lot deeper because you kind of lose your train of thought in being in the moment, but it's so much you want to say, and there's so many different ways you can go because everybody has their own story, and I don't think it's a right or wrong way to deal with it. Rion, is just your way. You got to get through it. You got to function how you function until you figure out how you need to deal with it. Like, I cry. I'm not going front. Every now and then, randomly, it gets real for me. I carry a lot, and I realize that I can't hold it in because holding it in is just tearing me up inside. So I got to start releasing that. I got to start building from the outside in, no matter what it takes. And anybody that looks at you different because you express yourself or because you have feelings, then maybe you need to reevaluate who that person is in your life. But in here, the Choose to Inspire, Not Destroy squad, we building a different bridge. Fellas, I appreciate you. I'm getting a signal from the producer that we need to wrap it up, and I hope you enjoyed it. And the next one, like I said, it's only going to keep getting better. It's only going to keep getting better, keep growing, and we're going to keep developing this. And I salute y'all, and I appreciate y'all always. Thank you.
Yeah, fellas. Glad we figured out how to get this one recorded. Glad hopefully we'll get to them sooner.
When do y'all want to try and do one? Can pick up tomorrow, or it's up to y'all whenever y'all want to do it. I'm good in the evening, so it doesn't make a difference.
So I think being that we have like the setup pretty much set up, is if Zoom is working, it's working, right? Like, let's just go with it.
Yeah.
And if we're doing 30, 45 minutes at a time, I'm good. We could do another one. We ain't got to wait.
All right.
7 days.
All right, bet. So tomorrow we on, Rion. Tomorrow's good for you?
Yeah, I'm off for the next 6 days. So
good. Yeah. That's dope.
All right.
That's city schedule.
Yeah.
You got to work 12 hours. So, but yeah. I'm good.
That's still sweet. So tomorrow it is then, fellas. We just got to set a time and get to it. I have my notes, but I feel like I feel good. I feel like it's gonna come, and it's gonna be a good one when we get it together. For real.
I'm glad they're gonna be able to see like a couple episodes and see how much better this one is. Oh, it's so good.
That's what I was telling.
The comments are gonna be like, yo, they must have got money between the first episode.
Yeah. Word. Cause after that first one, I was ready to be like, oh no, hold on, I can't see nothing. I can't hear. This ain't right. This can't be the way it go. But
and don't worry, episode 5. By episode 5, I should have a babysitter.
It's like WandaVision. By episode 4, it'll be all good.
But she was quiet.
She's all right. If you got to sit there and do that, then that just might be our thing. That's all.
Yo, you think you're the only one with custom
That's why I don't even know. That's what I'm saying. I don't even know. Do I need this? Should I send you something or not? Are you gonna rep it or not?
Yo, I just want to say the song that's about to play on the intro and the outro, produced by Novi Nova. Holla at your boy. That's Lil Nova on the hat.
Oh, sir.
Yeah.
The rhymes, the rhymes and the vocals coming soon. I'm about to lay those. It's gonna be smash. It looked like it still say recording in the corner on my screen, man. You still recording?
We don't know exactly how much time we got.
Oh nah.
So I ain't wanted to cut off mid conversation. Yeah, I mean.
Oh, all right. Because it was about to get deep.
Yeah, better to wrap it up on our terms than have Zoom just be like, Thanos snap.
I had him. Yeah, word. I had a bomb coming. I don't want it to cut off
that's fair.
In the middle of my bomb. But
hey, George,
what time we on tomorrow?
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Huh?
We'll figure it out in the morning.
What you said?
I was gonna say your assignment for next week is Falcon and the Winter Soldier, first episode.
Ooh, I'm ready.
When is that starting?
Next Friday.
It started already? It started next Friday?
Next Friday.
Right. Did y'all watch Coming to America 2 yet? Everybody seen Coming to America 2?
I haven't seen it yet.
Well, we can't discuss that. We gotta wait for next episode. We ain't got time.
Yeah. I haven't finished watching it. I fell asleep. So I'm gonna probably finish watching it.
I've heard it isn't as good or funny as the first one, but
go get something to eat.
Yeah,
I keep hearing that too, but I think it's a nostalgia thing.
Man, listen.
What'd you say, Brandon?
Exactly.
He's signing out. He's signing out. He want to save it for tomorrow. All right. So I'm about to hit leave.
I said, from this point forth, you got a soldier. Sincerely yours, signing off, Novi Nova.
There go his pause.
Nice.
Fully inspired.
I'm gonna just have Silk Sonic.
That's it. We gonna have Phoenix on the track soon. She does it all.
I'm about to sample her crying. It's happening.